Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Jobu, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally doesn't work. Let me go ahead and make sure we're open for business, and welcome to this morning's edition of Don't Sleep on the Dallas Cowboys, because you literally cannot sleep on the Dallas Cowboys. Seriously, things always happen late in the evening, late at night, first thing in the morning, so you want to definitely be kept up to speed. And last night, thank everybody who joined in for the live stream, even you trolls. Good Lord, we got trolls that are running around like cockroaches around here. You literally just can't stop stepping on those suckers. But I also want to thank David and Clifford for joining in last night. Dallas Cowboys talk. They came on the show and stuff, and we were talking about our defensive line and who the odd man may be out with the rotation, because we have a lot of guys. I mean, a lot of guys. When you think about Kona Ely, when you think about Jahide Ward, when you think about possibly David Irving, as well as Randy Gregory. We actually have more guys than we're going to be able to keep on the defensive line. So it's a matter of figuring out who's actually going to stay. But that's actually not what I wanted to talk about this morning as we go through another weekend without football. Training camp. Hey, guys, it's 7 weeks away. 7 weeks away from training camp. It's already June. The end of July, the Cowboys will be back at Oxnard, and hopefully the Jobu Sports Report will be there again and covering some of the practices and things. And that's right, we're talking about practice. But between now and July 16th, the Cowboys have a major decision to make. Actually, two major decisions to make. July 16th is the final day that you can go ahead and deal with franchise tagged individuals. If they do not get a deal done for DeMarcus Lawrence before July 16th, then you cannot do a deal until after next season, in which case he's then a free agent again. Now, they can franchise tag him again, and he's happy with getting that $17.1 million. He's not looking for a long-term deal. He actually likes the idea of saying, if I gamble on me, I'm going to get paid. I believe in myself. I'm not worried about a long-term deal, because if I go ahead and do back-to-back seasons that are fantastic, if the Cowboys don't step up and pay me, believe me, there will be plenty of teams out there that will. So the Cowboys have to figure, when they look at his career in its entirety, is the 2017 DeMarcus Lawrence the DeMarcus Lawrence for the career? Or is that just the peak? Because let's go through, and rookie years are kind of like, you really can't gauge rookie years. Rookie years for wide receivers, for defensive linemen, quarterbacks are just difficult. It takes time to get adjusted up to speed in the NFL. So his rookie year, he got 2 sacks in the playoffs against the Lions. That's it. That's a wrap. His second year, major improvement, 8 sacks. Third year, 4-game suspension, 1 sack, injury back surgery. 2017. Going into the season, there are a lot of people that were talking about DeMarcus Lawrence like they talk about Taco. He's a bust. We need to move on. A lot of people were even looking at him being a starter. He was an afterthought. But he had that fantastic season where his numbers went off the chart. The stat lines, he's in the top 5 in every category on pass rushers. Had a remarkable season, especially when you think that we had 7 games where we didn't even get a holding call against the defense. So the question for the Cowboys is, was 2017 the year that it finally clicked and it's going to be like that for the next 3 or 4 years? Or is that kind of like Jason Hatcher, who had about 3 sacks a season until 2013 had 11, and they're at a crossroads. Jason Hatcher, do we pay that guy, or was that 11 sacks just an aberration? I think the Cowboys are okay with saying, let's wait and see. Let's ride out the franchise tag. DeMarcus Lawrence is okay with that. Enter Zack Martin. Zack Martin, who's not on the field. You could say it's actually beneficial for Zack Martin not being on the field right now for depth purposes, to let Chaz Green and other guys get more playing time and work in the offense to get better. I'm not sure you have to worry about Zack Martin being in OTAs right now. You know, we're talking about a guy who's been in the NFL for 4 years, who's been a 4-time Pro Bowler, a 2-time first-team All-Pro, and a 2-time second-team All-Pro. Clearly, one of the best, if not the best, guard in the NFL, who is young. And the difference between pass rushers by the time they get to be about 30 really start to decline. Offensive linemen, on the other hand, for the most part, play well into their mid-30s. So if you were to say which one is more important, well, here's the thing. You could do nothing with either of them right now. You've got the 5th-year option on Zack Martin. Yeah, he's holding out right now, but eventually you're going to get to the point where it's mandatory and you start getting fined and start losing money. Generally speaking, players aren't going to hold out for too long. They'll show up to camp late or the beginning of the season, but they're going to show up to make sure they get paid. But then at the end of the year, if you do that, you have to understand that now you got a pissed off player that feels like, I should have made more money this year, just like I should have made more money last year. And I'm going to go ahead and say, F you, and go elsewhere. But of course, you could franchise tag him. Here's the problem with doing that. You can only do one franchise tag a year. One. So if you're willing to say, DeMarcus Lawrence, we're going to keep you tagged this year and see what happens. And let's say DeMarcus Lawrence goes out, has 20 sacks. Do you want to give him that big, long-term, $80 million contract? Or do you just want to franchise tag him? That's a lot of money. Because now you're talking about possibly paying 20 or more per year on a long-term deal. That's still a gamble because you're still talking about a guy who's had a back history. Zack Martin has played 64 of 64 games. Zack Martin is key to your team's offense. We found out when you don't have your all-pro offensive lineman in there, what happens to our offense. He's got nothing to prove. And if it ends up coming down that you don't renegotiate that contract, you finally get him in there pissed off, you could lose him for the long term. So it would be advantageous for the Dallas Cowboys to get this deal done sooner than later for Zack Martin. If you do that, because at the moment, I believe we only have about $7.5 million. His current salary for this year is $9.3. You could re-sign him to a long-term deal. Then when you look at long-term deals, the thing that's a misnomer is you look at the total value of the contract. So when you look at Matt Ryan having a $150 million contract, forget about that. Look at the guaranteed money. That's what the contract really is. So it's that $100 million guaranteed. So you guarantee more money for Zack Martin, and signing bonus, and then it's prorated over the life of the contract. You can make this a team-friendly deal for the first year because you're going to have $70+ million after that $24 million of dead money comes off for next year. You could get his cap number down to, say, $5 million, $6 million this year. Grab yourself some extra cash right now and be able to make other moves for the team and keep one of your key players happy that you know is a guy that's going to be there long into the future. Now, of course, I'm just a guy with a voodoo doll and a day job, so what do I know? But it behooves the Dallas Cowboys to sign Zack Martin now. And then you can roll the dice with DeMarcus Lawrence and possibly use a franchise tag next year on him if you need to. So, guys, I hope you have a great weekend. Another weekend gets us that much closer to the NFL season. I'm Mark Holmes. This is Cowboy Joe Boo, and I'll see you guys soon.